Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to start your day with me, Mahamouktoum, and the wonderful Shazad Khan, who's back now because he's better from his injury. He had an injury yesterday.
Exactly.
Tell us what happened.
The injury is still there. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and assalamu alaikum to you too, Maha, because we didn't get a chance, and obviously people know that why we're not on time today.
Yes.
Obviously, there are certain other different important issues which we need to highlight as well. So I think we need to spare time for them. But I'm better, alhamdulillah, and I think I'm in need of prayers as well because it's not that good. But inshallah, it's going to be well enough. I think that's what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, today, we are obviously not getting started with our headlines, but we'll for sure get started with the public service message. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our public service message first, and then we'll tell you what we're talking about today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so our public service message today is what we have picked up on is that quite a lot of times we get to see early in the morning that people are rushing on the roads as well, and then they're honking and then they're beeping and whatnot because they are getting late for work. Now, if you do not want to get late for work, all you have to do is whatever time you leave or you are habitual of leaving from home, make sure you wake up 10 minutes early so it is going to give you 10 minutes window. And obviously, if you're going to leave home 10 minutes earlier than your usual time, you will be on time and your life will not be at risk.
Exactly, and that's a wonderful public service message because it leaves love perfectly onto our topic for today, which is time management.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, is it ironic that we didn't start on time today? But obviously, as Shazad said, we had to give you other important news that's happening with Pakistan. But the importance and the reason for highlighting and talking about this today is because time management is when you're planning and exercising a conscious control over a certain amount of time you spend on specific activities.
Exactly.
And what I've noticed is, and I'm guilty of it to an extreme,
All right,
but we waste time, we put things off or we're slow at it, and it affects every day-to-day life.
And we as humans do procrastinate as well, and I think that's one of the major causes where we lose time. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, the importance of time, I think, has never ever been highlighted in a way where we actually could have learned. Or all of these years when we were growing up, everybody took time like very for granted because back in the days we used to hear people, we still have so much time. But today, in this day and age, actually you wake up and the day is gone. So if you want to do something with your life, you obviously have to plan your life. Now, planning is very essential, and plans cannot be made just over here. They need to be penned down and acted upon as well. What we do is, what we are guilty of is that we say that, okay, 5 o'clock we need to go at this place. Probably at 5 o'clock we start thinking that, okay, I need to take a shower, get ready, and by 6 we will be there. Now, another very fair example is of weddings over here in Pakistan. So, for example, if a wedding card says 8 o'clock, dinner time, and people start coming at 9. So, for all those people who actually book their hall, they have to empty the hall by 11. But then all of those repercussions are there, they have to face it, and it happens in your daily life as well. So please make sure that you're not procrastinating, but we do need to highlight the importance of time and time management, and for that particular reason we have got some amazing guests over here in the studios. On my right hand side, wearing a red tie, looking very dazzling and smart, Mr. Asif Nazir, who is a motivational speaker. Hello, Mr. Asif, how are you? Assalamu alaikum.
I'm fine, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming over. Alongside Mr. Asif Nazir, we have got somebody who's very young, very vibrant, and his name is none other than Mr. Kamal Shiraz, who is a corporate trainer himself. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Shazad, and how are you?
Absolutely perfect. And
I'm here as well. Hello.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, and
I don't do the introductions, I don't get acknowledged.
Yeah, and alongside, Kamal Shiraz, we've got somebody who's got the same name I have, but, his second name is Ahmed, so he's Shazad Ahmed. He's a trainer, he's a motivational speaker, he's a counselor, and a public speaker as well. Quite a lot of hats. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Shazad, and Maha.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the first question. I will start with you, Asif. As I said in the beginning, it's planning and exercising a conscious control. Do we do this?
We don't do this.
Yeah. That's
We don't do this.
Okay.
And the reason for that is we don't actually understand the importance of time.
Okay.
We talk about that there is something, time management, we don't realize what it is. Simply in one statement, time management is management of your life. It's your life management. So if we are not managing our time, it means that we are not controlling our life.
Okay.
And it's something that we don't want to live the way we want to live.
Okay.
And we let others drive our life if you're not managing our time. It is as simple. We have got some very different trends as we talk about the time management. Let's suppose we don't want to wait 20 seconds when the signal is red. We don't, because we don't have time.
Yeah.
We can't stand in a queue for 5 to 10 minutes because we don't have time. We don't have time for our family, for our parents. We don't have time. Interestingly, when we talk in the different trainings, the people usually say that I don't have time for my personal health, for exercise.
I don't think it's like that. Well, you know,
No, I agree with you, I
Yeah,
think.
because if you mention that, you know, we do not have time, for example, 20 seconds to stand on a red light, or we do not have time to stand in a queue, it's like we do not have a habit of doing this.
This
But
is
that-
what I'm
that's-
saying.
yeah.
That's the second part of that. These are the negative trends we have.
Yeah.
We don't have time for learning, reading, self-development, trainings for contribution. On the other hand, what we usually do is we have ample time for gossips, excessive gaming, watching television, Facebook, social media, the cell phone addiction. We have got so much to do. So all it's about setting the priorities in the life. So there are a few things we need to understand. There are a few
Okay, we're
things.
going to set priorities, but let's see, you know, how everybody else is going to highlight the importance of time. So, Kamal, what about you?
Well, Shazad, I think that first of all, we need to pen down our vision for the life, just like you
Yeah.
said earlier. So it's like when you write down the vision for your life, you will get to know the things which are important for you and the things which are not important for
So
you.
it's priorities once
Yes,
again.
it's priorities. I will second Mr. Asif Nazir. So it's like getting to know the things which are important and doing those things, the productive things, reading books, you know, watching educational lectures, listening to audiobooks and things like that, but not wasting time on the things which are unproductive and the things which are not important. Because it is easy to spend time on the things which are not productive ultimately.
Yeah.
So we need to consciously act to, you know, focus our attention on the things which are important. And
Okay.
ultimately, we will effectively manage our time.
So Shazad, I want to now take a bit forward. We've highlighted that, you know, we don't have time yet we have time to do other things. Why is that we are not realizing the importance of the things we need to do within the time that we're given?
Maha, sequel to what Asif said and what you have questioned, I would put a question to you. Have you ever wondered that there are so many resources which have been given to us by the Creator? I mean, differentiation factors are there. Some are white, some are black, some are short, some are tall. But time is the only resource which had been given to all of us equally.
Okay.
It is 24 hours for all of us.
Yeah.
And by utilizing effectively these 24 hours, one normal person can become CEO of an organization, whereas the other person, not utilizing it effectively, remains a labor on the road.
Because
Okay.
he hibernates during the daytime.
Okay, so okay, well, I mean, but then let's talk about it though. So you're talking about this contradiction. We're talking about you learning the value of time. How do we actually learn it? Because like you made a very good point that we don't have time to wait in queue, we don't have time for this, we don't have time for that, but we have time to gossip, we have time for social media. Where is that break, and where are we going wrong in our whole process of thinking? Actually,
The one thing, as a society, we are in a race, in a sort of a rat race, and nobody cares. And as Shehzad Sahab talk about that in a wedding, one thing I would add that someone who comes at the end is considered to be the special guest. So we expect that if somebody is special as a guest, so he's going to come at the end.
And, you
So
know-
these kind of negative trends. Now, what is important and what we need to do. Now, everybody has got. We have to ask this question: do we want to live the way we want to live, or the way we are living right now?
it's
because
difficult.
because the point is, if we want different results, if we want to enjoy our life, if we want to have less stress in our life, if we want to produce better results, then for that matter, time management is important, because without managing time, we can't get the desired results. That's so simple. So let's forget about every other person. Let's talk about myself. Let's talk about yourself, because at least we are sincere with ourselves. And for that matter, if we want different results, and if we want extraordinary results from the same life within the same resources, then for that matter, we have to manage and plan each and every activity. One thing I would
Sure.
starting from the purpose of the life, objective of the life, bring them to yearly objective, monthly objectives, weekly objectives, objectives of the day.
Yeah.
Objectives
to-do
of the
list.
hour.
To-do list.
Yeah.
And importantly, along with to-do list, more important is not to-do list.
Yeah.
Some people having to-do list, but most of the people, they don't have not to-do list because we are get into so many negative things like gossips and watching televisions and the negative
Got it,
things
got it,
and
yeah.
the politics, and there are so many things. These things are not important. If we keep on doing these negative things, we can't get the desired
Okay, so
result.
Wait,
then
before
there's-
wait.
yeah.
Shazad wanted to add something to this.
There's another aspect to what Asif is saying. Basically, a major chunk of the people is what they are doing there. They're planning their day, and when they are accomplishing those tasks daily basis, they are thinking that they have done a marvelous job. But to me, it should be driven from top down, like Kamar said in the initial talk, that it should be driven from our life tasks and dreams, jot down into the weekly planning and then daily and then hourly. As you said, that hourly and then further divided into minutes. If I am posting a like button on Facebook, and if that posting of button is not taking me to my dreams, I'm wasting my time.
Okay.
All right. And what if you're liking the picture of a lady whom you like? I think probably your dreams are going to get fulfilled. But
Okay,
okay,
sorry.
there's one thing which I want to ask. Now you said that obviously you have to manage your time and everything. What difference do you think all of these things could have made? Because ever since I was growing up, I was going to school. My dad used to drop me. I was late for classes. As I started driving, I was going to my university. I was always late, thrown out of the class as well. At times, at work, I mean, now obviously I cannot be late because it has to start on time. Do you think that if I was always on time in school, university, and whatnot, it would have made a difference in my life?
Everyone saying yes.
Interesting.
Go
Interesting. Now there are two things. The first point is that how you can avoid that, and that for that matter, a very important thing is one powerful hour right at the beginning of the day. Once you get up early in the morning, you are receiving a booster of motivation.
I don't think so. I'm like, oh,
It's
what am I
right at the
doing?
beginning, right at the beginning. But if you're getting about 10 minutes or 20 minutes before leaving, then you can't make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, as you are saying that, with all these practices, if you have reached this point, I can bet that if you would have, practiced few more things,
You'd be running this place, Shazad.
you would be
What's
the head
wrong
of
with
this.
you?
Well, all right.
you would
Okay,
have
no,
gained
no.
entirely
You have a
different
chart
results.
as well
Okay.
for Kamar.
Yes, we do. So let's share the chart and let's talk about it because now I
Let's
want
see.
to bring into the specifics what we can do to make our lives much more manageable.
All right.
So what are
is
we
this?
looking at?
All right, so this chart is given by Stephen Covey,
Okay.
who has written the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the second habit, the
Let's
third,
get it back up on
yes,
the screen,
The
guys.
third
Let me
habit
see it.
is put first things first. Now this chart is everything about the time management. These are 4 quadrants: quadrant 1, quadrant 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Now quadrant 1 are the things which are important and urgent. For example, we are right now on live television. This is important and this is urgent.
Yeah.
Now the second quadrant is important but not urgent.
Yeah.
So Shazad, do you
So
have
you-
do you have kids?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
So when you leave for work, so hugging your child, is it important?
Yeah, it is important.
It is important,
Yeah,
but
I would always go to.
No, but is it urgent?
Yeah, I think it's urgent as well
Oh,
because
you
at
can't
times.
get the child as a
Yeah,
bad
okay, let
example.
me tell you, I think for all those fathers, they can probably relate
Children
to
will-
as well.
would
So
make
when
it
I wake
urgency.
up, so I have to go obviously take shower downstairs. Okay, so I'm not allowed to take shower in my wife's and daughter room as well. So when I get ready, I'm done with my breakfast. I have to actually go upstairs back again, see if my daughter's doing well, and if
Yes.
one of the days, even if I'm getting late, I still have to do it.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
But that's time management, so you shouldn't be late. You
Yes,
should
I'm
make enough
not
time
late,
for it.
yo.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now we've got those 4 quadrants. So we
Yes.
saw there was urgent, not urgent. Then what was the other one?
It's like
Important
the
and not important.
Yeah, important and not
There we go.
important.
Yeah,
Now,
so-
now the quadrant 4, I would like to specifically point out that which is not important and not urgent.
Okay.
All these things are unproductive
Okay.
work. So we need to first eliminate the quadrant 4 from our lives.
Okay.
So when we eliminate quadrant 4, we get more time for quadrant 2.
Okay.
Now Stephen Covey has said that the successful people, they live more in quadrant 2.
Okay.
And the success of a person is directly proportional to the time he spends in second quadrant, the things which are important but not urgent.
Okay.
And the quadrant 3, the things which are urgent but not important, we need to put filters into it.
Okay.
And the person who lives in quadrant 3, it is called the yes man, who says yes to everything. So,
We know a lot of those
yes,
people.
first of all, we need to learn to say no.
Okay.
And there's also a very famous quote that says that successful people, they say no to most of the things.
Okay, now there's one more
Wait,
thing.
wait, two things
Yeah.
before we move on to that. You wanted to add something?
Yes, I
Asif?
just want to add one thing that as Kamar Shiraz very rightly talked about the quadrant two. Now, when we talk about the important thing, again, we have got so many confusion. What is important in life?
Exactly.
One thing, clarity of the objectives, as we talked right from the objective of the life, yearly, weekly, and monthly, one thing, and that's not it. There are so many things. Taking care of your health, taking care of self-development, learning, training, taking care of your family members, friends, contribution in others' life.
Yeah.
So all these activities are the important activities. It's not that only managing your career is one of the only Q2 activity. So all these things we have to take care of.
Balance.
Balance.
You know, life is always
Work-life
about balance
balance,
as well.
yes.
But what is potential lose? Can anybody explain that what is
Yes.
potential lose? Okay, let's start with Shahzad.
Shahzad, I'll explain it with an example.
Sure.
If I'm a trader of, say, of this furniture, if I'm not going to sell this furniture, I'm going to lose the potential profit which I was intended to have after
Okay,
selling it. right?
exactly.
But in case of a ice seller, if I'm a trader of ice and I'm not selling that ice, I am losing that potential profit.
Yeah.
But in fact, I'm also losing my original product as well.
Yeah.
And all of us are ice sellers because ice is time.
Yeah.
Time is our product. If we are not going to use it productively, we are going to lose a potential profit which was intended to get out of the time,
Yeah.
but we are going to lose the time as well.
Okay, I totally get it. Now, what I want to ask is, okay, yeah, you know, we have highlighted all the problems we have due to social media and whatnot. And one of these articles was being read by one of our producers.
I was going to ask this question.
All right, you go ahead. Ask
Yes,
it.
okay.
Ask it.
So, go on. I don't want
Okay,
to
so
steal you.
what they say is, what researchers say, according to them, is the people who come late are very creative.
Who turn
But
up
creative
late.
people does not really mean have got a
And
very
are highly
settled life as
intelligent.
well.
I don't agree
No,
with this.
don't agree.
Yeah.
That means one you know, I don't say that there is logic, but those people who don't usually obey the rules set by others. I mean, 9 o'clock is one of the rules set by the people. So this could be a rare example.
Yeah.
So usually, if you have to, as a nation, as an organization, as a country, if you have to put your people in the right channel, for that matter, discipline is required.
Exactly, and I think these articles, I mean, look, obviously there are creative people, and you know, if you're lazy and whatnot, but it's just kind of justifying you not doing
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
as well. And the thing is, there's a lot of kids that can be led astray from that. When
Yes.
you're a teenager, you need to be active. I mean, that's when you get all your habits forming and whatnot.
But the leadership needs to set examples.
Exactly,
Yes.
and that's the parents
Very
and whatnot.
important.
But now let's talk about it, the specifics, because we don't want to run out of time. How do we, this clarity of the objective, now, like you said, we're inundated with life issues. Paying bills, getting kids to school, if you have kids, you know, going to work, looking after your parents, seeing extended family. There's a lot of stuff.
Arguing
there's
with your
and then
wife.
there's social pressure too. Now, you said learn to say no. When you say no to things, people don't take no. They call you rude, or they think you're too cool. So how
we
do you
are.
balance all of this stuff? So I will start with, let's start with Shahzad, then we'll move ourselves down.
Ma, very good and very critical question you have asked. Basically,
Thank you.
Basically, we have to identify our roles. For example, take your example. You are daughter to your parents. You are employee to an organization. You are probably sister to your brother, to auntie to your nephew, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Take your roles out, plot them, and see what is required in each role. The minimum performance level of each role is mandatory for you to achieve.
Okay.
Above that, you have to create that balance.
Yeah.
Right.
When that balance is created in 24 hours, it is going to replicate in weeks and years and in your life. I think creating the roles, identifying them, and then measurement of those roles in structured and scientific way is the key to success.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Okay, wait, now
go ahead.
Kamar has to. Wait, everyone has to get their turn.
All right.
Yes, well, I think, Maha, that let's say, for example, that Shahzad, you are running a multinational company, and you have to hire.
How did you know?
And you have to hire potential candidates for the senior management position, and you have shortlisted 2 candidates. Now you are, confused which one of the 2 you should go for. Now, what you are going to do is you are going to call each one of them separately in a meeting outside of the company. And let's say Ahmed and Ali. You ask Ali to come over at 4 o'clock, and he's on time. He's exactly at 4 o'clock with you in the meeting.
Yeah.
And then the next day you call Ali, you tell him that come over for a meeting at 3 o'clock, but he comes over at 3:30. So what impression does it give to you?
The next time if I'm calling Ali, I have to call him at 2:30.
2:30. Yes.
So intelligent.
So that also means that all the work that you are going to give him, he's going to delay it.
Yeah.
Because he's taking time for granted. And the first perception that you're going to have about him is that he's unreliable, and he is not productive enough, and all the things that comes with it.
Right.
So it's very important to be on time and to not to take time for granted.
Okay,
so that's what I believe.
Okay, let me just refresh my question then. Well, my question was that how do we manage our time with all the social pressures, with all the cultural pressures, learning to say no? It's not easy to say no. I've tried to say no multiple times to certain things. People don't take no for an answer. You're either called rude, or you're not helpful, or you're arrogant.
Especially at your workplace, you just cannot say no.
Yeah, so what do you do? So tell us, how do we manage our time?
Question. It's your life.
Is that though?
Is it? It's your
I'm
life.
asking.
It's your life.
Yeah.
So you have to learn that.
Okay.
Means I have seen so many people right after their offices, they actually join their friends and there they spend 2, 3, 4 hours. They realize this fact that they have to give time to their family members, but they can't move out of that circle.
Yeah.
Now it's their life. It's your choice.
It's my
So
life.
if you spend time, and if you manage all these times and give proper time to all these tasks. Now there is one principle, I must explain that. I couldn't recall the name of that principle, but it is that if the task, they usually swell up depending upon the availability of the time. If you give time and a task 1 hour, and if it can be done in 1 hour, fine. But if you give the same task in 5 hours, so the task would swell automatically. So similarly, if you write down the task and give them the proper time for accomplishment, then honestly you would have ample time. Our Creator gave us ample time in this.
Okay, so from what I'm getting from what everyone's saying is that really writing it down to get clarity. You
Yeah,
need,
okay.
Because the thing is, everyone thinks that they can do everything in their head.
Yeah.
No, and no offense, I'm going to name and shame. Now we have some producers who also think that, and we worked with them. And I said, write things down. But the thing is, it becomes more stressful when
He
you
does
don't
not want
write it
a
down.
job anymore.
Yes.
Right? Okay, now there's one more
it's
thing.
not a criticism,
Now
it's
what I
true.
need to say is over here, within
not
our,
here anyway.
within our country, now what happens is that, we obviously learn from examples. If you go in any government office or any government institution, I'm sorry for saying that, but we have to be honest to our jobs as well. No leadership is available, first of all. You cannot follow anybody in terms of time management, and every other CEO, senior manager, vice president, everybody's coming after at least 11 in the morning. Now, if that manager comes at 11, after 11, where he's supposed to come at 9 in the morning, and he tells somebody who's working for him that, you have to come on the same time at 9 while he's not coming, so he's not setting an example. How do you think that we can even function like this? So that's it.
Way back 20 years from today, this was the problem which I was facing, especially in the corporate world. If you are managing time effectively and all the other people are not aligned with you, either your requests for approvals are going to remain in the inbox of your managers or remained unheard. In that case, I took a training titled as Leadership Through Character.
Okay.
You have to set your petty examples through your character, and over a period of time. It's not going to happen overnight. Today, in an organization where I work, my team knows that we are going to start meeting, for example, at 3 minutes past 9 a.m. And people are going to reach there by 2 minutes past 9, right? Now, how it happened? It happened over a period of time by setting your own examples. Steadfastness is there, giving the pushbacks to the people, and remaining determined. over what you have planned and plotted for yourself.
Okay, that's
And
perfect.
one thing
Yes.
I would add to that,
Please.
once you're setting your example over the period of time, as Shehzad
Yeah.
mentioned, with the people would get impressed with your results. Because once you are setting example and you are giving extra, you're managing your time well, output would be your
But if
results.
you
I
are
think,
will
already
be
I know,
different
so
than-
I want to build up on what you said.
Yeah.
Because now another thing is, like Shazad said, with your bosses and everyone else around you or your people in your home need to be on time in order for you to follow it. But then when you take it forward, is that if the people, or like if we are not valuing our own time and being more aggressive about how our time is being used or wasted, then why would anyone else care about our time?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah.
So how
Okay.
do we get that? Because, we blame everyone else, but then what is our responsibility with our time management?
And I want to
there is
add up
no-
to that as well. Oh, sorry, just take a listen to this as well. Now, people over here in Pakistan do have a lame excuse. Usually, when I end up fighting with people who are supposed to be there in office at 9 and they show up at 11 or 12 in the noon, now I say, okay, this is not right. You have to be there on time. The lamest excuse they make. Oh, we stay back in office late as well. What the hell are you going to do staying late back? Because after 5, everybody else is going to leave who showed up at 9.
Yes.
So what
So
do we,
what do we do then?
So again, as if I don't realize that my time is important for me, no one else can make me realize. But I personally learned from two things.
Yes.
The importance of this time.
Yes.
Number one, reading different books.
Okay.
As Kamar Shiraz mentioned about the 7 habits of highly effective people, once you read out different books, all the authors with the different words and with the different styles, they give you the same message: discipline, time management. These are the tools to get the astounding results. One thing. And secondly, the company of the people you are living with. As you're the sum of the 5 people very close to you. So if
Ooh, really? The sum
Yes.
of the 5 people close to you.
Yes.
We need to do this. Okay.
Because if you roam around with 3 broke people, you're the 4th one.
yes, so you would have all the thoughts of all those people, and that's why it's recommended that the people they mentioned that join the company of the billionaires or the millionaires, so that you think big. So
Unless you get
2 things: read out different books, you would get positive message, and that message would be the part of your subconscious, and then you would try to do that. And secondly, having the company of some good, punctual people who know the time management.
Exactly.
Wonderful. And Kamar?
All right, Maha. I think things like this happen taking time for granted because we have no vision for our life. We have no direction. We don't know what to do with our lives in the next, let's say, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or 50 years. And when we are visionless, when we are missionless, we take time for granted because we do not know what is important for us. So first thing we need to do is we need to set our very clear vision and we need to pen it down
Okay.
Amazing.
so we get to know.
Great.
Summarizing all this thing in 3 pointers for your convenience
Quickly,
and
yes.
ease. Number 1,
Yeah.
being a leader, share your vision with people around you. Share what you are doing, why you are doing. Number 2, inspire them. Inspire them by setting your own examples, being role model. And number 3, facilitate them to come up to your expectation. Facilitate them, give them the room to.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Great. Thank you so much. They
You're
were
welcome.
excellent points. It was an absolute pleasure. And I'm really sorry we couldn't do the full show with you. But we had to find out what's
you
happening with our
managed it
nation.
well.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you very
so
much.
much. Okay, so I just want to say a quick few points
Yeah.
before we have to wrap up. So basically, about time management, we're not here to preach. We're just here to try and make our lives easier, right? So clarity objectives, which happens with writing it down, learning to say no, and then taking the stick that comes with saying no. Let
Exactly.
people judge you. It's absolutely fine. Because at the end of the day, God is the ultimate judge, so it doesn't matter what other people think. And then the last thing is, plan it, but don't get obsessed with planning. Because what the saying is, if you want God to laugh, make a plan. So have an idea, but don't be so rigid that you cannot change and move around.
Amazing. And at this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, since I've been talking about the government officials who does not show up on time, I think we do need to appreciate all of those people who are on time. And I think personnel from the armed forces, they're always on time. In fact, they're half an hour earlier at every occasion. And
Even on our show.
and once you're going to get to know the importance of your time, the next time you're going to see somebody and he was expecting a gift of you, tell him that time is the most important thing you have to spare for that person.
Exactly.
I think that's what it is. Do not forget to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a
on
G.
Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
And the fabulous repeat is going to be at?
Well, 11:05. I was going to say, well, this morning. 11:05 p.m. Have a wonderful day. We will see you bright and early. And we're all guilty of wasting time, so let's all try and be better at it.
So till the next time, 1 to 3, good morning.
Okay, and we're now on to our next segment, which is the emotional wellness segment. And in carrying on with the topic that we're talking about today, which is weight gain, obesity, and how to look after your diet, we have with us Dr. Sonia Bakhtiar, who's done her MCPS in family medicine, her master's in nutrition, and you're practicing general medicine. Thank you very much, Dr. Sonia, for being with us here today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
As we've learnt a lot in the earlier segment as well, we would like to take advantage of your expertise. There are many myths when it comes to eating certain foods that will make you gain weight. Because our diets can consist of, roti and rice, chawal. So what is the myth behind this? Many people say, okay, just stop eating rotis and rice and then you'll be okay. What is your take on
I
that?
personally don't exactly agree with this myth, because to my patients I don't advise stop eating rice and totally stop taking roti, because that's